Hi traders, this is Forex Nelson and I'm back again today with another 7 trades. Most of them were pound pairs and then 2 euro pairs. Today's date is January the 20th. I took all the trades. First 2 were just before 7 and the other ones were around 8:30 this morning, New York time. Most of the trades are a great way to trade, exactly the way I teach within the training videos. And I am using my newest trigger system called FRACTAL Trigger System. So let's go through the pairs. The first pair is the Euro Aussie. We'll just drag and drop it up. Nice example of a great way to trade. Took the trade rate at this cursor here. Everything was looking great for shorting. Now it did go against me, looks like about 13 pips. And I closed it out for no particular reason other than I was happy with the grand totals. And another thing is it was hitting the ADR here. But as you can see, it still went past the ADR. I closed it out with 28 pips. And 28 pips on the Euro Aussie, paid $2,166. Now, sometimes the fractals will line up perfectly, but in this situation, looking from here back, the last fractal was this one. And but once things line up properly and visually, you can see very clearly that the market is going down. I teach exactly how to trade this way within the training videos. Now, one thing I want to point out, which is very important, that all trading systems will work less than 50% of the time, and that is including all my trigger systems. Took me 700 systems and 8 years to figure that one out. So to bring you up to speed, and if you want to get that up to 80 or 90% or higher of a success rate, you will have to learn how to trade the flow of the market, which is what I teach. The market does the same thing every day, and once you learn how the market is flowing, then you're just going to trade what you see. And of course, you will also have to learn trade management and money management. Moving right along to the Euro New Zealand. Let's run a check on that. Now, most of the time I'm on the 15 minutes as long as the charts look good. Whereas the previous pair, and sometimes you will see in pairs moving forward, I will drop it down to the 5 minutes to get a clearer looking chart. Sometimes I'll go to the 30 minutes. But it just depends on what the chart looked like. So on this Euro New Zealand, we'll drag and drop it up. Another perfect example of a great way to trade. I knew it was going to go down at least 90%. And as you can see, after it hit the ADR, it kept going. And I definitely could have stayed in the trade for more pips. But my goal is 50 pips or more each and every trading day. And this is definitely a lot more than 50 pips. I would guess at this point in time it's at least 100 pips. Probably more. So, got in at this cursor, went against me 8 pips, and I closed it out. Looks like 47 pips. Could have traded just this one pair, the Euro New Zealand, close enough for 50 pips and call it a day. But I didn't know which one was going to go, and that is why I do more than 1 or 2 pairs, and you have to learn how to do that. Who wants to sit around for 3 hours to get 5 pips? Anyhow, these 47 pips on the Euro New Zealand paid $3,358. Okay, moving on to the pound CAD. Let's run a check on that. See what it looks like. There's our fractal, and I happened to drop it down to the 5 minutes because I wanted the trade setup and the looks of it to be better. Drag and drop this up to see where I got in at. Got in right here. Everything was, let's see, everything down at the bottom, everything was looking great. Took the trade, did go against me 11 pips. And of course, you know, if you're trading this way, you got to put your stop on the other side of the goal line, which is around 25 pips. And I closed it out here as it was hitting the ADR and as I was totally happy with the grand total down at the bottom. And this is 17 pips and 17 pips on the pound CAD. Paid $1,261. Okay, let's move on to the pound Aussie and see what that looks like. Again, the same situation here. Dropped it down to the 5 minutes to make the charts look better. Drag and drop this up to see where I got in at. As you can see, the charts all look quite similar. Took the trade, went against me 6 pips, and I closed it out. I could have definitely stayed in for a lot more pips, but this produced 18 pips, and 18 pips on the pound Aussie paid $1,392. Hope you're beginning to see how valuable it is to be doing more than one trade at a time. So this way here, you don't have to get 100 pips, even though it still dropped for a lot more pips. These pound pairs will move. I actually do teach within the training videos how to stay in the trade until you can get a lot more. And let's see what that would have been if I would have followed those rules. Would have closed the trade on this candle here, which is 80 pips. And one of these days I'll just stay in the trade for more pips and I'll show you how you can do it also. And as you can see on the meter, the pound is around 10%, fluctuating, and that is why it dropped. You must use a meter to trade or your trading will suffer, and not all meters are equal. I went through about 12 meters before I found this one. It is by far the better one, and the better ones are not free on the internet. You have to buy it. If you want to know more about the meter, just send me an email or call me, contact me. Let's try the next pair, which is the pound New Zealand. Again, this one, had to drop it down to the 5 minutes. As you can see, the fractals, forgot to mention the fractals on the other pairs, but when you see the fractals red fractals, it's suggesting going down. In other words, we're selling. Love the fractals because they it is a multi-time frame fractal. In other words, you can put it on, if you're trading on the 5 or the 15, 60 minutes is good enough. But if you're pulling the trigger on the 30 minutes or the 1 hour, then you definitely got to bump this up to minimum the 4 hours or the daily. Like 1 or 2 time frames higher. So you want to see what the higher time frames are telling you, suggesting either to sell and or buy. Remember, if they're blue, it is suggesting to buy. In other words, going to go up. So, moving right along to this pound dollar trade. Let's see how that looks. Also again, on the 5 minutes, same as before, fractals right here. By the way, if you want to make them a little bit bigger, you can make them bigger. I don't need it bigger as I can clearly see them. So fractals suggesting to sell. I'm just following the rules. Took the trade at this cursor. Did go against me about 8 pips. Not a big deal. Closed it out here. I should have waited till it got to the ADR. But at this point, I got 9 pips, and I was basically overall happy with the grand total down here. And those 9 pips on the pound dollar paid $900. Moving on to the pound yen, our last pair. Again, dropped it down to the 5 minutes to see a little bit clearer and to get in at a little bit better price. Everything was screaming, sell. It's exactly what I did. Went against me, looks like 8 pips. And as you can clearly see, it tanked for a lot more. But I was overall happy. Got 12 pips, and 12 pips on the pound yen paid $1,060. It looks like I missed one of them here. It's a pound New Zealand. I don't see the cursors in here, but again, back on the 5 minutes here, time frame to see clarity. Drag and drop it up where I got in at. And this one here, these pairs tanked because the pound just dropped right very close to zero, and that is why it dropped. I took the trade here. It did go against me, looks like 7 pips, and I closed it out just being happy with 25 pips. And 25 pips on the pound New Zealand paid $1,714. So another great day of trading as far as pip total goes. Ended up with 156 pips, and 156 pips paid $12,961. So if your trading is not producing like my new fractal trigger, I suggest you get your hands on it. All you got to do is look right below this video and you will see the fractal trigger system and my contact information. Keep in mind all trigger systems do produce exactly the same way. That is because I know how to trade the flow of the market. I do charge $250 and it comes with 4 gigabytes of training, and you'll get an exact copy of my system on your MT4 platform. Now it comes with 4 MT4 templates, 10 custom indicators, and of course my favorite meter. Now it comes with a lot of PDF books, a lot of Word documents. That's exactly what you're going to need. A lot of education to succeed at trading the markets. Now there's a lot of ways to trade, so I do teach a lot of ways to trade, and that's why I produce 42 training videos and I threw in 9 bonus videos. I'm only going to touch on this very first one as we're running a bit short on time, but my number 1 way and all the trades today were exactly the same way. It's called a great way to trade. You could learn this in 1 week, and once you grasp the concept of how the market is flowing, these two things combined, you're going to get fantastic results just like I am getting on a daily basis. So I'm not going to read everything else here. All you got to do is put it on pause. You can study everything that I teach, different ways of trading. If you have any questions at all you got to do is pick up the phone and call me. Here's my number. And if you live too far, simple, shoot me an email. Remember, there's an underscore here. I really do prefer Skype. This way here, we can talk through Skype no matter where you live in the world. And through Skype screen sharing, I'll give you a free session. You heard me right, it's a free session. And I will answer your questions. Now, over the course of many years, I produced many trigger systems, and all you got to do is click on this link and you will see 30 screenshots. So that just about wraps up this video, and if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So until the next trade, happy trading, and remember to keep yourself and your family safe. Okay, bye for now.